Hi everyone, Rodel here again, creator of Yuniql. In this video, which is actually the second part of this two-part series where we demonstrate how you can use Yuniql in your .NET Core AS application. So the first one was an ASP.NET Core. Today I'm going to demonstrate you how you can use Yuniql on a console or a worker application. So you don't have an HTTP endpoint, it's just a console application. In the same case, we need four things to make this work. We need a database server where we deploy the database. We have a .NET Core SDK 3.0 later, a Yuniql CLI to initiate our project workspace, and a sample database to deploy, or a set of scripts that would set up our database. You have seen this probably before. This is a hypothetical human resource information system database that is currently version 0.2. How it reaches version 0.2, you could see the evolution of this, because in the beginning you have version 0, your baseline, where maybe at the time you only have 3 tables, and then over time new features required that you add 2 new tables, jobs and departments, and currently you have 2 more tables, employees and dependents. So let's get started. So no, we don't need that. I'm using conemo for this. Large it up a little bit. So let's see what we have. So we should have SqlServer on container, and it's already running from my previous demo. Let's try to connect to that, see what's inside that, and let's drop this database for demonstration's sake. We don't need that for now. So it's an empty instance again. We're just gonna reuse this instance. And then we need a .NET SDK. Obviously I have that as well, and we have the Yuniql CLI available for us. So it all looks good and well. We are ready. So let's clear this out. So the first step that we are going to do is actually to create that actual console project. So with that, we're going to use this .NET U console app scaffolding command, and it has been done. So let's see. Okay, so we've got the project available here. Let's try to build this console app. Okay, and let's try to do a test run. Okay, it looks all good. So the next step we have to do is create a project, a database project. So this time I'm going to create a new directory called db under this, and then let's see what's inside here. Nothing, it's an empty directory. The next step is to initiate a Yuniql project here, or a Yuniql project workspace. If you've seen this in other video, I've said that there's nothing magical in this command. It just basically helps you create all those required folders for Yuniql to work. The most important part at the moment actually is this version 0.0, because that's where we will drop our create scripts. And let's take a look what's inside there. So we have the DB here. We have the no, that's not what it's a temp console sample DB. We've got the project workspace here available, and then we have the version 0 here. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So this time we're just gonna copy one of the samples here for SqlServer. And you see we have the 3 versions there. I'm gonna copy the erase command as well, and let's just drop it here for simplicity's sake. So there's nothing really extraordinary here. Version 0 contains create tables for regions, countries, and locations. Like in other videos, I've explained that it would be worthwhile to see that data with some of the initial master data here, so you can see that. Whereas in version 0.1, actually this is more interesting, because this time we use a CSV file, and sometimes you find it tedious to use to write those insert scripts, but instead it's better to just use a CSV file, and you could organize this CSV file by schema as well. So you say maybe this is HRS, and then maybe organize further by saying 01 HRS. If you want that created first, you can organize. So there's, again, it's largely convention based. This is the For CSV file, it's the series number and the schema name and the table name. So the table name has to match with your CSV file name. Yes, I think we should be almost ready. Now let's try to take a look at the project inside Visual Studio. See. So we've got the environment available for us. We've got the project or the database project created as well and ready. This time we're going to make the actual work. So, and I'm just gonna copy some of the commands here. I'm gonna cheat a little again. So we have the program.cs here. Let's see if it open. Yet, and my machine is now dragging because of this video encoding. Just gonna do this fast. So we've got the first one. We have the database deployed already. We need an implementation of the console trace service, so you could fully customize how you want your logs to be written. So just in the interest of time, I'm again just going to copy this simple trace service. So we have the console trace service, which is implementing iTrace service, and nothing fancy here. It's just writing into the console. And then we have the configuration here for Yuniql to know, and then we call the migration from here. We need a nuget package for this to work, of course. So let's try to find that. So in the previous video, we use Yuniql.asp net core. This time we're gonna use a different one. We're gonna use the core nuget package. So again, if you're building background worker or ASP.NET Core app, which has an application builder, you could use this ASP.NET Core because it's better and more fluent API. But for console app, you could use Yuniql.Core as well. So yeah, so Yuniql.ASP.Core is just a better and more fluid, whereas this is a bit more verbose, but it works well for console application, and it's a lot more lightweight. Okay, so it has been installed now. Let's try to make a reference now. See, it should be, so we've got Yuniql.Core referenced here. So from here you could see, okay, maybe you need the path.io there. Yes. So, and then this, we need the reference for the extensibility. So we've got two references used, the Yuniql.Core and the Yuniql.extensibility, because we need to implement the iTrace service. We've got the server available running right now. We've got the custom tracer, so you could custom write your logs as migration runs. We've got the configuration here. It's a global one. So it's a singleton one where we have, say, platform is SqlServer, workspace would be a DB directory along with the application. We've got the connection string here, create the database when it doesn't exist yet, and print some debug information so it helps your migration. And here we say, okay, migration service factory, create one based on this configuration and run the migration based on this configuration. So with that in mind, let's try to build this again. So we're gonna do a .NET build here. Okay, that works out of the box. Sometimes it failed. I have to build in Visual Studio sometimes. And let's try to run this. Okay, that's weird. That's all sample. Let's see. So tabs. Okay, that's kind of weird. Let's try to build here. All right, so it's building well and it uses temp console. So let's see. It's kind of weird. So maybe I have to save the files first. Yeah. So yes, so it shows that it actually run, and see, we have the database created here. We have the tables set up, and we've got the tables actually seeded as well. So we have the locations here that's coming from an insert script. You have there, and then we have the departments, which actually comes from the ZSB files, and they're all well loaded as expected. Yes, and maybe an interesting piece as well is maybe you would like to say, okay, I want this application to run only to a maximum of version 04, for instance. So one way to do that as well is to perform this kind of validation. So this could be interesting. So while changes are being made, you want to make sure that this application runs a required version of the database. So you can see that it throws application requires a database version that is v0.4, but the current version is v02. So it also helps your application detect some compatibility with the database it's running against. So yeah, I hope that gives you an idea, and if you're interested more, I would like to invite you to visit our GitHub repository. There's a lot of interesting happening in this one here, and we're getting a lot of traction in terms of contributions. So appreciate if you could give a star. It goes a long way. Various supported databases are available here. I've shown to you that I use SqlServer, but it works the same for PostgreSql, MySql, and some other data warehouse technologies such as Snowflake and Redshift. It's the same pattern, it's the same approach, same workspace, just different connection string. And feel free to give us some feedback. I really appreciate if you could give some feedback or try it out. That's the only way we could make this tool better. Documentation is available on Yuniql.io. Actually, what I have demonstrated to you is documented here, and I even use this guide when doing this video. So yeah, please follow that one. Yeah. Yes, looking forward for your feedback. Please visit the GitHub. See.